They say he's an illegal immigrant from Guyana who was given a final order of removal in May of 2024. When federal agents tried to take Roberts into custody on a fugitive warrant last week, they claim he initially sped away. After finding his abandoned district-owned vehicle, authorities later found Roberts in a wooded area.
These are our kids we're talking about. This isn't, any job. This is the superintendent, which oversees our entire school district. So when the school district's board chair goes on TV and says, no, there were no red flags, I find that hard to believe.
Is he a citizen, or does he maintain that he's a citizen? And number two, he's also been filling out that he has a Social Security number. Where did he get the Social Security number?
Well, both of those things I'm able to respond to, but quite frankly, I don't want to respond at this point.
That doesn't make sense.
According to his resume, this man was basically the Thanos of higher education. 2 master's degrees, 2 doctorates, MIT, Georgetown, Coppin State, St. John's. If there was a college hoodie to buy, he probably claimed he graduated from it. But here's the catch. Half of those degrees don't exist on his record. He was out there collecting diplomas like Pokemon cards, except nobody can even prove he actually caught them all. Also, this guy was a registered voter, despite the fact that he was not a legal citizen.
This is a voting record in Greenbelt, Maryland. As I mentioned, Prince George's County, Maryland, right outside Washington, D.C. Of course, he's a registered Democrat, but he's registered to vote in Maryland. Well, there's got to be some mistake here. Illegal immigrants don't register to vote. Everyone knows that. It's a myth. It's a myth that illegal aliens are registered to vote.
Think about that. Parents can't get away with fudging a date on a permission slip, but this superintendent, Des Moines schools, can invent Ivy League credentials and walk away with a $255,000 salary. This was a resume purely in fan fiction. No one in hiring office bothered to fact check any of it. They just saw all the alphabet soup after his name and thought, this looks legit. It took independent digging for someone outside the system to uncover how deep the lies really went. Birthdays, degrees, awards, all riddled with contradictions. This man wasn't just careless with paperwork, he was a first-class scammer hiding in plain sight. And we'll check out the press conference featuring his lawyers that did not do anything to help his position at all. They refused to answer the most basic direct questions about this guy's status. It was pretty silly. Let's get into it. So this individual by the name of Dr. Ian Roberts, he was the polished and smooth talking educator from Guyana, became a superintendent of Des Moines public schools. The salary was over $250,000. He was able to afford the really nice suits, but underneath all that was a giant red flag, a final deportation order from ICE. He wasn't even supposed to be in this country, yet he was running Iowa's largest school district. Dude got arrested with a loaded handgun. If you're a legal immigrant, you're not supposed to have that. He had a knife as well and $3 grand in cash. Also, he was running from the cops. So after all that, the school board put him on leave. They framed it as some kind of precautionary step while more facts came in. But then just 2 days later, after the Iowa Board of Education examiners revoked his license, the board had no choice to switch him to unpaid leave. That means at first, yes, taxpayer dollars were still flowing his way, but once his license vanished, so did his paycheck. The board tried to spin it as following procedures, but to parents, it looked like they were protecting him until they legally couldn't do it anymore. Any regular worker lying on job applications gets booted on the spot. But this guy, leading an education of about 30,000 kids, had that first civication on a taxpayer dime, then finally cut off when the state forced their hand. The board wanted to call it a precautionary step, but this was just PR spin for we don't know what to do, so we're stalling. Remember, the board said that it had a comprehensive background check, but that shows that they didn't. It's the biggest joke of it all. They said that Roberts claimed to be a U.S. citizen during hiring and that it was all good. And shout out to Laura Powell on X for surfacing a lot of these receipts. She dug in and really truly did a comprehensive background check, and it is completely wild. This man has fabricated his entire life. Court records list December 13th, 1970. His own Wikipedia page says 1978. His athletic records say 1973. 3 birthdays for one man. I don't know how old the man is. He could bounce between 40, 50, 60. Who knows how old this man is? He has multiple birthplaces. In 2020 interviews, he said Guyana. In 2024, he told folks Brooklyn, New York. Which is it? Is he back in the Caribbean or he's in Bed-Stuy? Pick a lane. A real background check would have flagged this in 5 minutes. Now let's talk about his degrees. He brags about 2 masters and 2 doctorates with schools that make people clap: St. John's, Coppin State, Georgetown, MIT. But the timelines don't match. Records are missing, and some degrees look more like certificates. One example, he flexed having a doctorate before the dissertation was even done. That's pretty shady. You didn't finish the doctorate, so you can't claim to have one. At one point, he claimed himself a commissioned military officer and a police officer detective. Later, those titles quickly disappeared from the bios. Why? Because real titles leave real trails, and this reads like some guy making fan fiction about himself. He actually wrote this. He wrote he helped the Queen in 1994. The problem is the timeline and his own jobs don't line up. When your alibi needs Buckingham Palace to co-sign, you're lying too loud. Also, there's awards that no one can find. His official bio hyped as 2013 DC Principal of the Year from George Washington University. Reporters searched for this and found nothing. Not in the archives, not on school pages, not in the press. If an award has zero footprint, then it's not really an award. Seems like a dream or a way to pad your resume to get that $255,000 salary. Also, this man had multiple cases all over the place, multiple cases in multiple states, domestic issues, child support, contract disputes. Yes, records also show that he was a registered voter in Maryland, despite state law requiring U.S. citizenship. He registered there in 2017 while working out of St. Louis, with no clear proof he even lived in Baltimore at the time. His LinkedIn showed him running a consulting business while supposedly working full-time in multiple school districts. Does this man have the ability to clone himself? A real comprehensive check doesn't stop at a criminal search and a phone call. You need to check out the social security number, immigration status, the date of birth consistency. You verify every single degree with the school, confirm license with state boards, and you make sure that the timelines work and it makes sense. You cross-check public claims with public records. If they'd done even half of that, they would have hit red flag after red flag, conflicting birthdays, dueling birthplaces, phantom degrees, vanishing job titles, fantasy rewards, and a court trail that says, slow down, do not hire this guy. He is not who he says he is. When the board says comprehensive, what they really meant to say was complacent, or they didn't do anything at all.
So let's talk about this press conference. Did it help Dr. Ian Roberts at all? Short answer, no. Long answer, hell no.
Is he a citizen, or does he maintain that he's a citizen? And number two, he's also been filling out that he has a social security number. Where did he get the social security number?
Well, both of those things I'm able to respond to, but quite frankly, I don't want to respond at this point. But as you may or may not know, certain people coming into this country are entitled to get a social security number. We thoroughly checked that out. That's not our concern at the moment. Let me go down to this.
Did he have authorization to work in the U.S. when he was employed by Des Moines Public Schools?
Well, you'll see the letter.
They had a chance to come out swinging with proof, like a passport, a green card, maybe some kind of certificate, anything that screams this man is legal. Instead, they gave us a bunch of word salads about how some immigrants can get social security numbers. That's not proof at all.
His prior attorney was in Texas. At the end of this conference, I'm going to share a letter that was received from the prior attorney telling his case had been closed successfully.
And this whole case being successfully clotheslined, that's lawyer code for we're stalling. In an immigration world, closed doesn't mean you won. It just means the case got shoved in a filing cabinet until someone else felt like reopening it. It's not a green card, it's not citizenship, and it sure as hell isn't permission to run Iowa's biggest school district while cashing in $250,000 a year. So what was the whole point of this press conference? Honestly, in my opinion, it felt like PR. They filed a motion to stay, said they're going to file a motion to reopen, and then spend the rest of the time talking about how great Roberts was with the kids, how he lowered dropout rates, how complicated immigration law is.
Number one, this is such a complex case. Number two, there's so many entities involved that we have touched bases with to try to work through this, through the consulate in New York for Guyana, through all many other entities we've been trying to work through this case with. We want you to know that Dr. Roberts' greatest concern is about his students who he actually loves and the students who love him back.
Translation, please feel bad for this guy while we figure out what the hell is going on. And notice the one question they refused to answer. Is he a U.S. citizen or not? That's the whole case right there. They ducked it like it was a dodgeball in gym class. If they can't answer that, everything else is just noise. This wasn't a legal defense. This was damage control, a sympathy play, a play to buy time and keep his supporters from jumping ship. But did it show he was legal? No. Did it prove ICE wrong? Not even close. It shows that Roberts' team is scrambling, and the best they can do is throw a press conference to stall for time.
They brought the suit, the smile, and the story, and they left parents paying the price. This isn't a paperwork hiccup. This is a hiring failure so big that it embarrasses their entire school district. And again, it teaches the kids the wrong lesson. This is a colossal institutional mistake. institutional negligence. Some people should be fired here. If I was running things, someone needs to take the fall for this. It can't just be this guy. It needs to be who thought this was a great idea. Who actually went through the background check. Those people need to be reprimanded, suspended, or fired. And I hope that the students and staff actually see exactly what's going on. I know many of them actually liked him and probably are confused. They probably saw someone in the sharp suits, he's shaking hands, he's giving all these motivational speeches. They didn't see the paperwork lies or the ICE deportation order, but the district had every tool to see it. They had the resources and they had the responsibility, and they still looked the other way. It fails on every single school official who stamped his resume without asking real questions. So I hope that all those people who went out to protest this situation, you should be kind of embarrassed. You should have spent some more time researching what's going on, because you need to send the right message to kids. You tell them that honesty matters. When you try to defend a superintendent lying about the citizenship, you're telling them to follow the rules, but the board rewards him with paid leave at one point. That's hypocrisy on display. It tells kids rules are for you, but not for the people in charge. And once you normalize that, corruption becomes the curriculum. Roberts wasn't just a man in a nice suit. He was the face of a system that failed at every single level, from the immigration enforcement to the school board oversight. Parents should be angry at the cracks that let him slip in, not defending the guy sprinting in the woods with the loaded gun. So let me know what you guys think about this situation in the comments below. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.